Our guest tonight is TNA legend and future Hall of Famer Gail Kim. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. At the 2016 edition of Bound for Glory, you will take on Maria Kanellis-Bennett for the TNA Knockouts Championship. What should casual fans expect from this match, and what would it mean to you to win the title at the company's biggest pay-per-view?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, first off, with the whole Maria thing, I think the casual fans, maybe, do you mean casual fans who haven't maybe kept up with the product and what's going on?
Yeah, Bound for Glory usually brings in a large audience of people who maybe don't dabble in it every week, but they come in for the big pay-per-view.
Right. Yeah, I mean, first off, the Impact Wrestling roster, I always say this, it's the one roster that I know that every time, we go through ups and downs, and whether people hear reports about morale or whatever it is, I will tell you, every time we come together, we always put more than 100% out there. We come together as a family, and no matter what happens, we always give the best performance for the fans every time. So Bound for Glory will be no exception. In terms of my match with Maria, I think casual fans may know us both from WWE days. She hasn't really wrestled a lot since then. So I think also the people who have been watching the storyline, they're going to be looking so forward to the moment when I finally get her in the ring, because it's honestly been, I think, almost 8 months in the making for me to finally get in the ring with her. So to have the title, of course, that is always special to me, and I would love to win the title. But for me, it's more about getting her in the ring on that day, and I think everyone just wants to see me give her a major beatdown. So I'm really looking forward to it, personally.
Also at Bound for Glory, you'll be the first female inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame. What does that honor mean to you, and how much more would it mean to you if you were inducted as a Knockouts champion?
Oh, I think that's just the icing on the cake, if that was going to happen. But in terms of being honored at the Hall of Fame, that's something that I think every pro wrestler dreams about. I think, you don't think about it as your career is going on, and for this moment to come, it was almost surreal, because to have the appreciation from your peers and from the fans and the company that you work for, that's the ultimate. For me, that has always been the ultimate, because respect has always been the most important thing to me in this business. I'm very old school thinking in that way. The business has changed a lot. I love when I go to see, when I'm part of a show and I see the younger talent that are up and coming in the business, when they are taught respect. And for me, the Hall of Fame, and to be respected in that way, that's the ultimate, the top of what I can achieve in this business, to be honest. I don't know, maybe, I don't know how much longer I can go, because I don't know what I can achieve beyond that,
Brandon Gavin, next question.
You've consistently been among the top wrestlers in the world, helping to change the perception of women in wrestling. And over the past few years, the women have become a major focal point in TNA, and at times the most anticipated and exciting moments of the show. WWE even started their women's revolution last year. So as somebody who was a major factor in this shift, what does it mean to you that fans have become to appreciate women's wrestling like they do today?
I think, with the fans, way back before even all this women's wrestling even happened for us, which was probably 2007, people used to always tell me all the time, the fans don't want to watch women's wrestling. And I refuse to believe that. I don't know. I could have listened to all these people who were my friends, other fans who thought that they didn't want to see it because they had a perception of what women's wrestling was. And I just always believed, and I always felt very passionate. So I think the fans also saw at that time, not only did we deliver, but I think they felt our passion. I always said that the reason why I connected with the audience, maybe I'm looking at it from a different point of view, but I always thought, why was I not connecting to the fans in the beginning, whether it was my WWE run? And there's a lot of aspects to that, and that could be not having a great storyline, or maybe I was just not relatable. But I feel like ultimately in this business, I connected with the fans because they saw my passion. and they saw and we shared that passion for wrestling. And so I'm just so glad that they appreciated everything from the very beginning. The feud that I had with Awesome Kong, they're the reason why it was such a success. Yes, we took the ball and ran with it, but they truly believed in it. They wanted to see it. I'm so glad that women's wrestling has come this far. It took a long time. I mean, that was 2007, and now we're in 2016. But the strides that women's wrestling has made to this day, and I've said this in another interview, because people think of us as maybe competitive with WWE girls or whatever it may be, but I support them. I want them to have that opportunity. I want them to have the stage that I never got to have back then. I can appreciate how bad they want it, and when I see them accomplish what their dreams are, it's an unbelievable feeling, because I know what it feels like, and I want that for them as well.
Mike Chiari?
There's a lot of new young faces in the TNA Knockouts division currently.
Yes.
How does the overall talent level right now, do you think, compare to the talent over the course of the division's history? And also for you as the veteran of the group, what kind of role do you play in terms of teaching and elevating these women to ensure that the division is successful moving forward?
Yeah, I love the whole new group of girls, and this is funny because between us, let's say Madison and I are probably the only ones kind of left over from the knockouts of the past, and we always joke around at every TV. We say, wow, this is the first time I kind of feel like almost an outsider, even though we get along with the girls. Obviously, we're all very close locker room, but it's funny to be at this point in my career, because now I'm at the point where, of course, I always go out there and give the best performance that I can, but I am also in this stage where I feel like I just want to help as well, as much as possible, to make this division be rebuilt, because all these girls are kind of coming in together. They're all friends. They all came through the independents together, and it's great to see girls like Chelsea and like Gabby, who have very little experience, but they just want to learn. Their thirst for it, their passion. I love that. And we're all working together to make this division great, not just themselves, but the division. So it's it's a powerful thing. I love it. And I just want to go on, hopefully in the next couple of years, finish up my career and do more behind the scenes and help them out and do as much as I can to pass on my knowledge. I think they all know my personality. I'm pretty straightforward. They know that I'm a perfectionist in the ring, and I want that for myself as well as for them.
Well, you've also had the opportunity to do a lot of groundbreaking things during your time in TNA. Your ladder match and last knockout standing match against Taryn Terrell come to mind.
Yes.
You've done some intergender matches also. What more can be done on your part, or also from a company-wide perspective, to keep pushing the envelope and to ensure that the knockouts are presented and viewed at a level equal to the male wrestlers?
Well, I think they already do that, to be honest. I feel like the company really puts the knockouts on the same level as the guys. They really believe in us. I've always felt that way. They've always given us the opportunity, no matter what. I just think it's about the turnover. Right now it's almost like a whole new fresh crop of girls, so we got to try to build them and get the fans to identify with each girl and their character and what they bring to the table. So I think we've always given it, so I don't think anything should change in that regard. Maybe just have some more storylines that maybe, the thing is about Kong and Taryn, those were the two most successful feuds I had in my career, and the one thing that they both had in common was that those were storylines that went over the course of 6 months, or if not more. And for me, that's where my old school mentality comes back in. Our business is so quick, our society is so impatient that they don't get emotionally involved in the storyline. I'm sorry if I have some sirens going back.
Scott Steiner's behind you. Tell Scott Steiner to leave us alone for a second, please.
I'm on a military base right now with my husband, so I don't know what's going on. They're just passing by right now. 1 second.
It's Diesel and Scott Steiner all at one time. I don't know how to stop them.
So, my one thing I would say, if the company was going to do anything, but I think it's actually business as a whole, whether it's WWE or TNA, is that they have longer storylines and they make the fans more invested in them instead of doing, quick little storylines that have a 3-week payoff. And for me, that's not interesting, but it's just how society moves. It's quickly done.
Brandon Galvin, next 2 questions.
There's been times, not just in TNA, but also in WWE, where it seemed like the women's match should be the main event of a pay-per-view. Do you think that we'll get to that point where women are main eventing major pay-per-views? And what do you think they would have to do in order to achieve that goal?
Wow. I think that it could happen, yes. I think it will take time because look how long it's been since we created our division, and then everyone's talking about women's revolution in wrestling now, like I said, 2007 to 2016. So it could take time, and I don't think it could be a regular occurrence for a while. I think it could happen soon to be a one-time thing. I hope that it could become that. I think that the women just have to prove really that they can draw, in terms of, because everything in this business is about money. So if they can draw ticket sales, if they can draw merchandise, I think that could prove overall that, yes, they're valuable on a monetary level, so it could work. But in terms of their performance, I think, women can do it any day.
We thought the matches with Taryn were excellent. They had a lot of great moments and were filled with emotion. I saw a few months ago you mentioned on Instagram that the ladder match was one of your favorite matches of all time. Why does that match stand out so much to you, and what do you think would have to be done to top that match in the future?
Oh, boy. So it's the same thing with Kong and Taryn applies every time I talk to them. It was almost like a magic chemistry I had with them. So every time I wrestled them, whether it was an important match like a ladder match or whether it was just another impact match, to be honest, we always felt the pressure to top the last match. It's very hard. And to have that kind of magic, I always call it magic, I didn't think after Kong that it would be possible again. But then Taryn came along and I was like, whoa, this happened. And now we have the pressure to do it again and again. So with the ladder match, that particular match, it was supposed to be another last knockout standing match, actually, that fans don't really know because we had just successfully had the last knockout standing match. And then so they wanted to do it again because they thought, okay, that was great. Let's do it again on TV. And literally I begged for something different. I said, can we do a ladder match? Can we do a ladder match? Please, please, please. And then Taryn agreed, and that was a pretty high-pressure situation. I will tell you, though, that day couldn't have gone more perfect than we envisioned, and it turned out to be one of my top 3 favorite matches of all time.
Mike Chiari?
You've faced so many of the biggest names in women's wrestling, been part of so many memorable rivalries over the course of your career. Mm-hmm. But having said that, is there anyone you've never had an opportunity to wrestle or maybe never had a chance to have an extended program with that you'd like to mix it up with at this point?
Many people. A lot of them are from my past, and Beth Phoenix, she's probably, from my recollection, the best person I've been in the ring with in terms of from a worker's point of view. She was just always so calm and collected, really knew what she was doing, was a great leader in that ring. Her, Natty, Alicia Fox, those are probably my top 3. And now there's so many other girls that are so talented, the Sasha Banks and the Baileys of the world. It's just, I've been so fortunate to work with so many generations of girls, but every time you see a really talented girl, you have that urge, like, I want to make some magic with this girl. So yeah, there's a couple of girls I'd love to work with.
Well, we'll go with one final question here. You've already accomplished almost everything imaginable in the wrestling industry. Now that you'll be a member of the TNA Hall of Fame, what are your long-term goals in wrestling, and how much do you have left before you want to walk away?
Oh, boy, a lot of people have been asking that. And you know what? I am almost 40. I'm so grateful to have been in this business for as long as I have. 16 years, there's not many women who have been able to do that for that many years in a row. So I would say the next couple of years I'm going to have to retire. And this is what I always said. I said I will retire when my body starts giving out on me, because I would never want the fans to see me deteriorate in performance at any time, because that's how much of a perfectionist I am. I don't want them to I don't want them to see me lose a step. So I always said, when that day comes, I'm going to retire. And then in terms of future plans, I would love to work behind the scenes. I would love to help the girls build their division even more and see the next generation become just as successful as I was. Hopefully.
A huge thank you to TNA star Gail Kim. Catch her stealing the show at Bound for Glory on October 2nd and every Thursday on Impact Wrestling on Pop TV. Tell the fans where they can support you and TNA.
They can support us on Twitter. It's at Impact Wrestling, and myself at Gail Kim. It's me. I'm also on Instagram there. And you can go on impactwrestling.com.
Fantastic. Another big thank you to Gail Kim. Good luck moving forward.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.